It's been 2 years since the massive explosion in the capital of Lebanon, Beirut, which claimed the lives of more than 200 people. An investigation into the blast was paused in December last year after political pressure, and the United Nations is now asked to intervene. The city is still in limbo and victims still searching for answers. In this video, while graduates gathered to mark their passageway from school, one of the students who should have been part of the celebration is being remembered. His seat is left vacant. The student, Elias Ore, was killed in the Beirut port explosion, and his mother expresses her feelings. The Beirut explosion occurred August 4, 2020 at 4 p.m. as a result of the stockpile of ammonium nitrate in a port warehouse, a combustible chemical compound commonly used in agriculture as a high nitrate fertilizer, but which can also be used to manufacture explosives. The blast swept across the city, killing over 200, injuring thousands and causing great damage. 77,000 apartments were destroyed as a result of the blast. 7,000 people were wounded, of whom at least 150 acquired a physical disability. The blast displaced over 300,000 more, at least 80,000 of which were children. It was felt in Turkey, Syria, Palestine and Israel, as well as parts of Europe, and was heard in Cyprus, more than 240 kilometers away. It was detected by the United States Geological Survey as a seismic event of magnitude 3.3 and is considered one of the most powerful accidental artificial non-nuclear explosions in history. In response to the disaster, the Lebanese government declared a 2-week state of emergency. But did that solve anything? Of course not. A protest erupted across Lebanon against the government for their failure to prevent the disaster. In the aftermath of the blast, Lebanese officials vowed that the cause of the explosion would be investigated vigorously and expeditiously. On August 30, 2020, United Nations experts publicly laid out benchmarks based on international human rights standards for a credible inquiry into the blast, noting that it should be protected from undue influence, integrate a gender lens, grant victims and their relatives effective access to the investigative process, and be given a strong and broad mandate to effectively probe any systemic failures of the Lebanese authorities. In the years since the blast, however, a range of procedural and systemic flaws in the domestic investigation have rendered it incapable of credibly delivering justice. These flaws include a lack of judicial independence, immunity for high-level political officials, lack of respect for fair trial standards, and due process violations. In all of this, what did the Lebanese army say? The Lebanese Army Command brushed off knowledge of the ammonium nitrate in Hangar 12, saying they had no need for the material, even after learning its nitrogen grade classified it under local law as material used to manufacture explosives and required Army approval to be imported and inspection. Despite being responsible for all security issues related to munitions at the port and being informed of the ammonium nitrate in Hangar 12, military intelligence took no apparent steps to secure the material or establish an appropriate emergency response plan or precautionary measures. It can be clearly stated that the actions and omissions of Lebanese authorities created an unreasonable risk to life. Under international human rights law, a state's failure to act to prevent foreseeable risks to life is a violation of the right to life. In addition, evidence strongly suggests that some government officials foresaw the death that the ammonium nitrate's presence in the port could result in, and tacitly accepted the risk of the death occurring. Under domestic law, this could amount to the crime of homicide with probable intent and/or unintentional homicide. It also amounts to a violation of the right to life under international human rights law. Some countries, however, promised to assist people in Lebanon after the blast, but so far have not done enough to deliver justice. Hopefully, with the call for international investigation into the Beirut explosion, justice will be served to many of the victims.
In our case, it's not only the feeling of grief that kills you from the inside. There is another feeling of injustice that shatters you in every way.